So whose slide is this? Is this Norazlin's, yeah?
Yes, mine, Dr. Norazlin.
Okay, thank you, Norazlin. So I think without further ado, I think we can start our session today. First of all, welcome everybody to our webinar. This is first of the series that we plan of similar events co-organized by UNEP and ACT. We have both representatives from both organizations with us today. I would like to welcome our speakers, Dr. Lamizana and also Prof. Rahina. Both are here in the webinar. Let me start by giving a short welcoming speech for this webinar. Today we are hosting two great speakers who are known internationally for the work they do on SDG, or Sustainable Development Goal number 6, water and sanitation. My name is Muhammad Fakri Zaki Jaafar, your host and moderator for today. I am from the Department of Architecture, Faculty of Design and Architecture, University Putra, Malaysia. Just for your information, the series will be co-organized by UNEP, ACT, and UPM. For this first webinar, the Department of Architecture is handling it. As we move on to the other webinar in the series, there will be other departments handling the webinar and according to the relevance of their disciplines. Okay. So on behalf of the Dean of the faculty, I welcome everyone to the webinar series on SDG 6, water and sanitation. This is co-organized by UNEP, ACT Malaysia, from the Global Wastewater Initiatives Awareness Program with University Putra, Malaysia. The objectives are, first, to increase awareness on importance of ocean quality, preservation, and promoting sustainable livelihood for coastal communities. And second, to share culture-based technologies in the area of to remote settlements. In each series, we arrange key speakers from among members of the Global Wastewater Initiative Awareness Program and pilot projects partners from Malaysia. Today is the first of 11 webinar series planned for the year under the SDG 6 title. The webinar series recognizes the partners and supporters of SDG 6. Among them are University Malaysia Sabah and the Malaysian Industry Government Group for High Technology, MITE. The webinar series is also part of the 50th celebration for the establishment of the university. Just to inform you that all sessions is recorded for case analysis by the United Nations Environment Programme. And please be informed that the session is also streamed live at Facebook, our Facebook FRSB UPM, for those who are interested. So you can chip in with your questions and thoughts in our chat box, as well as at our FRSB live page. Okay. So let me introduce our first speaker. First of all, welcome Dr. Birgui Lamizana from the United Nations Environment Programme, who will speak about the United Nations Initiatives for Water and Sanitation. How are you, Dr. Lamizana? Are you okay?
Good. Good morning. Good. Yes.
Great. Okay. Allow me to introduce her. Dr. Birgui Lamizana is a broad-based development professional with more than 20 years working in the environmental services institutions. Skill in sustainable development, environmental issues, water quality, biodiversity, and environmental impact assessment. She is a strong community and social services professional with a PhD focused in environmental flows assessment from University of Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, and Aarhus University, Denmark. She is currently a program officer at United Nations Environmental Program and had worked as the program coordinator for Global Water Partnership West Africa. Before I call upon Dr. Lamizana, I would like to invite the audience to write in the chat box any questions you may have for our both speakers. We will gather all the questions at the end of the talk for the Q&A session. So Dr. Lamizana, we have 20 minutes for your presentation. Towards the end, the last minute, I will give some indication of the remaining time. So the floor is yours, Dr. Lamizana. Who is sharing the screen? Okay. All right, your mic is off. Okay.
Okay, now it's on.
Yeah,
So
we can hear you.
I'm sharing my screen. Just let me know if you can see it.
Not yet.
Do I have the right?
I suppose so.
Yes. We are. I'm open for everyone to share the document.
So I have shared. Just let me know if you can see it or not.
Not yet, Doctor. Perhaps if.
Let me go back and do it again.
Okay.
Share screen fail, try again. Okay, let me, saying that is failed, so let me try again.
Or did you send a copy of your presentation to the?
It's what I did, but I think, I don't know if you have received it.
Right now, right?
In fact, I cannot share because if I click on sharing, I need to have a right to be a co-host or
co-host. Are we? Okay, just wait.
You can enable multiple participants.
Okay. Okay. Or you already a co-host, Doctor?
Okay, so I'm clicking on sharing the screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Not yet, Doctor.
And in fact, I'm receiving a message, screen sharing has failed to start.
Oh, I've never come across this.
If you go into stop share and stop
It's
sharing.
not even.
Oh, okay, yeah. There should be a tab at the top of your screens allowing you.
No, it's still share screen and it's not coming.
Okay.
It's green. If I click normally, it goes to my desktop. I can choose the flight, but when I click on, it seems that you are not seeing it.
Yeah.
Now it's saying screenshot, screen sharing has failed to start.
Oh, there might be some bug or problem.
Can you verify that you have received this screen from your side? So maybe you can share from your side.
No, not yet. We still don't see any screen sharing from your side.
No, through email.
Through email. Okay.
The one I sent this morning. See if you have received it because my screen is failing to share. I don't know why.
Okay, Shida, do you have the email? Dr. Lamizana's email? Who did you send to, Doctor?
Raina, but let me ask Ricardo, have you received my slide this morning?
Not this morning, Becky.
Okay.
I sent it. Let me try again.
Okay.
Maybe I will disconnect and reconnect to see if it will work. Sorry for that. If it's not, then we'll find another solution. I will disconnect and reconnect.
Or would it be possible for Prof. Rahina to do your presentation first? Prof?
I'm okay.
Okay. So while we let Dr. Lamizana sort out her problem, I would welcome Prof. Rahina to do her presentation. Okay, let me do this introduction. So our first speaker today, supposed to be our second speaker, but now she will be presenting first, is Professor Technologist Dr. Rahina Ibrahim from the Faculty of Design and Architecture, University Putra Malaysia, who will speak about the Smart Sanitation for Water Settlements pilot project. A little bit about Prof. Rahina. Dr. Rahina Ibrahim is a professor and former dean at the Faculty of Design and Architecture, University Putra Malaysia. She has 7 years industry experience before joining academia. A trained architect, she received her PhD in construction engineering and management from Stanford University. She is a respected design scientist who was recognized as one of the top research scientists of Malaysia in 2012 and 2018 by the Academy of Sciences Malaysia. She was awarded the National Academic Award in 2013 by the Malaysian government. She is currently the lead researcher in the UNEP ACT Malaysia's Smart Sanitation for Water Settlements pilot project, besides being the focal lead for the implementation working group of the Global Wastewater Initiative Program of UNEP. Again, during her presentation, participants are welcome to type in your questions or your thoughts in the chat box, and later on we will try to address those. So, Prof. Rahina, without further ado, the floor is yours.
I just share.
Okay.
I hope it comes out. Yeah, you can see. You can see now, right?
Yes.
Okay, I need to open.
You have started, but okay, there.
Okay, I'll make it full screen for you. Okay, good afternoon and good morning, Berke. Maybe good day to everybody. I don't know the time zone everyone is right now, but I'm grateful that you all are here. I'd like to thank the opportunity for me to speak also today and to join forces with Dr. Lamizana today to speak about SDG 6, water and sanitation. This is the end of it. So I'm going to the first of my slide. It so happen to be the last of my slide today. Okay, great. So I'm sharing today the pilot project that we are doing, United Nations Environment Project in Malaysia. The title is Smart Sanitation for Water Settlement, and we have a team, meaning that if you love your nature, you can prosper your community. Why we are doing this actually? The fact is 27% of the world population has no connected sanitation, and some of these settlements area are really in beautiful marine parks and also very beautiful environment. So all the more for us to take care of the environment so that it can prosper very well. I like to point this as a case because these are beautiful places where these human settlements are. In fact, the water settlement, which I'm very keen in, are actually man-made settlement by architectural typology. So there are cases in the world, and if you look from the frame.com, you will see that these are really tourist attraction actually for the country. So you can see Koh Phangan in Thailand, Ganvi, Benin, Kelayoy in Myanmar, and Halong Bay in Vietnam. These are beautiful places, and these are floating they look floating, but actually they're not floating. So they are water villages actually. And not least, I like to share the beautiful settlement that we have in Sabah. Some in Sempurna, we have in Sandakan, and we have one in Gaya Island. Blue water, beautiful water. What I want to highlight here is that there is economy at these water villages. You can go from the luxury tourism to the normal cultural tourism, okay? And then there are agriculture also. It's not, it's in salty water, the ocean, and there are also aquaculture. So there are green floating platform with aquaculture and also fishing actually. Okay. What I like to highlight to you is something that we rarely look at when we go on these water villages. There is culture actually. There is culture. So this one is in Peru, and the other one is really, they have communal value. They work in a team. So it's not only women, it's men only that goes into the ocean, but also the ladies and also children. What attracts me is the ancestral knowledge. So these are forefathers, like thousands of years old, brought down mouth to mouth to the people, to the grandchildren, so forth. And also, let me see here. I need to take the block out from my presentation. Actually, it's blocking. Okay, and they are very industrious also. Because of the adverse environment they are in, you cannot deny that they are really hardworking. So these are values that we need to capture among the people living on the water settlement. Okay. So this is the proposition that we put forth in sustaining marine economy for the water settlement communities. The United Nations forecast that there will be population growth up to 9.7 billion by 2050. That's not a very long time to come. And we know already that 20% of the population has no connected sanitation. And of course, because of this, we only have one earth. So therefore, the land resources, the water resources for sustenance are getting lesser and lesser per person populating the earth. So this is our proposition. We need to find a balance between the resources and also the population growth. Can countries sustain their economies by empowering the local community to preserve the natural environment while the population grow in the more dense urban cities? And for this purpose, this is why we call for action. That means the call for action to stop wastewater pollution at the sources, where you will contaminate the actual resources for the water for the new population. Why this wastewater pollution? So let me tell you the story about this toxic destruction that the sewage life cycle is causing to our environment. You see, when food you add with water, it will allow microorganisms to use the dissolved oxygen to decompose the food. Great, that's what you want, decompose the food. But this metabolism creates concentration of chemicals. Now these chemicals we don't want, because these chemicals become food for more algae and more bacteria, and these algae and bacteria, instead of they will use more and more of the dissolved oxygen to create more metabolism, and they become very dynamic. It's like dancing in the oxygen, and then towards the end, you have a toxic cocktail made up by this algae and bacteria with no oxygen left. That means you have dead marine life underwater. Unfortunately, we only know when it goes back to the food cycle. So some of us may get sick or the fish may die, then only, oh, what happened to our water bodies? Now, the proposition says, what if, can we stop this wastewater pollution at its very source? Can we capture the discharge wastewater at the toilets by itself, where the outsource of this contamination happen? Now, let's look at the geophysical part of the water settlement. It has a unique geographical challenges actually. So many who live around this area, you don't have the formal, authority approval process to build. So these are called informal settlement planning. Okay? And many of them are timber structures along the coastal shelf of the continent. Now, the unique part about this is that it has two dual tidal cycles, meaning maybe in the morning or in the afternoon, and basically it destroys the plumbing system. So your maintenance will be very high. This tidal cycle can be from 1 meter to 2 meters. So it's very high. Okay. And the distance is very long. It can be 1 kilometer into the sea. So it's less efficient flow gradient if we ever do centralized sewage treatment plant. So meaning that centralized treatment plant is not a very affordable or low maintenance solution for this community. On top of that, these communities are poor community with fishing as livelihood. Now, this is where the solution comes in. How can we solve this problem? They have geophysical problem. So what technology is needed to solve this problem? Okay, one, can this technology be transported by boat? So meaning that they can be broken apart and put back together when installed. Can it be installed by hand? Because there's no way you can bring in heavy crane or heavy machinery into the site. Also, it has to be small enough that you can maneuver below the house. Otherwise, you have to break the house in order to install, and whereas the water settlement is already built upon many years. For being small, meaning that the treatment time has to be shorter, and you have to manage the dual tidal context. And then if can, since many of these water settlements are located in what we call environmental sensitive area, if possible, discharge standard A, the highest water quality discharge from a treatment system. And of course, it has to be sustainable. And for this, what we have is University Putra Malaysia have a technology called independent sewage treatment plant, and this is the first Malaysian winner from 180 years of CIOB UK, which is Chartered Institute of Building UK establishment. So now we have a technology that has sparked some interest among the international community. With that, now how do we move forward? So let me discuss a little bit. Why is this unique? Because this technology actually give a wrap around situation or context to the water wastewater treatment. It has 3 chambers, anaerobic, aerobic, and anaerobic again, with 7 hours hydraulic retention time. Okay. Now, what we find unique in courtesy with Oceanori is the tank, as you can see, it can have platform access, meaning that this water settlement or timber platform, we can open up the timber, we can, instead of coming from the water down, we can install over the timber platform. You only need 2 person. You can see they can carry, or 1 person, they can carry over and handle the modules themselves. You can use the regular light tools, there is no special machinery, and they can, 2 of them can install within 3 hours during the low tide period. Okay, once you have it, you can see the pictures there. Okay, now this is version 10, version 2. Now, what we have here is what we are going to share at the pilot project in Sabah. So we have actually very young people here doing their TVET education, so they are trained to build this tank for us. So we are looking into youth TVET group and also working with Water Village Cooperative to produce the tank. Now, we have the technology. How can we make it feasible for the communities to prosper? Okay. So then come the Oceanori business model. this model actually also is a Malaysian startup winning proposition. We won first place at the GEOPHYSICAL startup training in Australia that acknowledged that it is a business model that can go for scale up at international market. So what does this model do is that you have the tanks to clean the sewage, and the sewage improve the environment, so improve the economic productivity of the community. And then the fishermen who live in the community will increase their income. And with this income, we can buy more tanks. So these more tanks can go and install in other villages around the area. So for Sabah case, actually, ecotourism, yes, it is COVID right now, but it's always in preparation of post-COVID situation. The ecotourism will build up definitely. So it's USD 2 billion for Sabah alone. Okay, so for this, it stops waterborne diseases to sustain ecotourism. Second one, aquaculture. The potential for Sabah is 500 million a year. Okay, so to reduce waterborne diseases also to sustain livelihood. The third one is the seaweed industry. It stops wastewater pollution so that they can have more productivity in the seaweed. So this is about USD 300 million. Now, how are we going about with this pilot project actually? So this pilot project is part of the bigger, larger demonstration project, which we estimate about 12 months. Okay, so in this first 12 months, we look into cleaning the water and improve the sanitation system using the technology intervention. But the next part is the next 24 months is where the socio-economic empowerment takes place. Yeah, and we were very surprised, but we are very happily surprised that if we could accomplish this successful socio-economic empowerment demonstration, we could reach 12 of the 17 SDG goals by United Nations. This is a great achievement to target for actually. Okay. At this point of time, the pilot project partners are very little, very small for us because we're not into the demonstration project yet, but we are expecting collaborative partnership to grow with future onboarding as we are discussing corporation, institution to join us locally and also internationally. Okay. Now, one of the successful ecosystem, okay, you cannot have everything. It has to have an ecosystem to work together. So this is a three-pronged ecosystem. You must have these three entities, which is the government, the technology, and the community to come together. So there will be policy drivers, you need the community development, and you need the technology provider. So for a conclusion, actually, this smart sanitation for water settlement program, actually, you have the opportunity to partner with UNEP, a global leader of environment. It uses international award-winning technology intervention. It applies international award-winning business model for scale-up in international market and has generated interest among communities in need already. Okay, for this project, yeah. It's more to raise awareness to build up successful ecosystem among local and country government. It wants to raise cooperation among concerned corporations to partner in technology and socio-economic intervention projects and to provide long-term sustenance and environmental sustainability for the local communities. So in short, I would like to invite every one of you to join us in this project so that we can self-empower the local communities so they could help preserve our natural environment for the rest of us who live in the urban cities. So for this, I thank you. Their contact number is there. I will hand back my presentation to Dr.
Thank you very much, Prof. Rahina. Right on the dot. Interesting project, and in fact, I have been with Prof. Rahina for quite some time, and I have come to understand what she has been fighting for, and perhaps all these years, I think her effort has come to fruition and it's just it needs a little bit more push from various interested parties. So I would like to check again if Dr. Lamizana, are you here? Are you ready for your presentation?
Yeah, I'm here and I have
Okay.
sent, thank you very much and sorry for the technology which is
No
failing me
problem,
this
yeah.
morning. I shared the presentation on the chat and Ricardo has also sent it in Dropbox to you, Dr. Raina. So I
Okay.
would request that you share it from your side and I will speak from my end here.
Okay, Prof. Raina.
Let me see if I can
Okay.
share.
Yeah, thank you. I hope now that everyone can see it. And
Yes, that's
apology
great.
again for this technology failure.
No
You can see
problem.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me properly? And can you
Yes,
see the
yes,
screen?
doctor. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I would very much like to first of all congratulate Rahina for this brilliant presentation of this very interesting initiative. I think we'll come back to that after my presentation. But very excited to be working with all the university on this, showing how by the action we are taking together, we can mitigate and contribute also to the SDGs. So within the United Nations Environment Program, we are doing quite a work on this issue and how to not only at local level, but also at global and regional level. Next slide, please.
Okay.
So I know we want to look into the solution, but I would like to remind us that we have some challenges really in front of us. Because wastewater contribute to not only polluting the environment, which Dr. Raina has already mentioned, but also on the health part. Here are some pictures of around Africa, where you can see a child, for example, coming from the school, but just because he's seeing some water running, just kind of drinking of it. So these are really photos from Kenya, from Somalia, from Mozambique, and from South Africa, where you can see some discharge of untreated wastewater when you have some mining activities going there. And the issue is that you see it going, maybe sometimes the color will tell us that it's not fit for purpose, fit for consumption, but sometimes it's very clean, but loaded with heavy metals, loaded with the chemicals, loaded with pathogen, which we can't see up front like this. So these are the challenges. And the challenges is that because most of the countries in Africa, in Asia, and also in small island development countries, and also in some part of Eastern Europe, and you can be surprised to find it in Europe and also in the America, where you have people facing really the challenges of wastewater because it's not treated, because sometimes the infrastructure we have are very decayed. It's planned for a small population, and now the population increase, industries comes, the development kick in, and then even the infrastructure is there. It's really not playing the role it's meant to be, to treat and have a safe, reuse effluent for the environment or for reuse. So these challenges are there, but these challenges is not meant to stop us because there are solutions. And next slide, please. You can see that, next slide, please. You can see that when you manage it very well, you can find a solution. And here I want to summarize all what I'm doing within just 2-minute video before I develop what we are doing also. So this is a 2-minute video we did to link the land-ocean connection, because we know that the coastal and the marine, 80% of the pollution sometimes comes from land-based activities. So this is 2-minute video next, and we can listen to that, and then I can continue.
I'm not sure whether I can open this.
You have just to click.
Yeah. I cannot click on it. Oops.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It's embedded.
Oh, I'm
Go back
sorry.
again. Go back again.
I'm
If
going
not,
back.
then we'll, everyone has received it. You will have time to see it,
Okay.
but yeah,
Oh,
no.
there,
Okay, yeah,
there
yeah.
it is. Okay.
It's working.
It's working.
So let us,
Wow.
the sound.
Oh, sound. I'm not mute. My sound is okay. Oh, here. Oh my God.
Technology. Maybe you go back so that the sound, we can get the sound.
Wait, hold on. Let me go back.
Oh, okay.
Is there a sound control here? Oh no.
Yeah.
It's larger than my screen actually. Wait, hold on.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Never
Try
mind, we
once
can-
again. If not, we move. It's a pity I cannot share it from my end. I'm so sorry.
Perhaps later on, if you can provide the link. That,
There is a link.
designer.
Oh, it's going.
Okay.
It keep going down. The sound.
Look at the end.
Yeah,
Okay, so if it's not working, you have
yes.
already.
A sound slider there. Maybe.
there is. There is a, yeah, but it's not moving.
So I think you will have the time to look it from your end. I have shared this presentation on the chat, so every participant can download it. You have it already
Okay.
on the chat.
Yeah, yeah. I can see your
So-
PowerPoint link there.
Yeah. So if it cannot work here, just let's move on. It's a pity.
Okay. So are we?
So this small video is summarizing really because if you look into wastewater, it's really a kind of soup where you have invisible pollutant, but you have also solid pollutant like plastic, which has really hit the roof on time of attention and action to really reduce it. But invisible pollutant like the nutrient loading, the pathogen loading, the chemical loading, because when it's if it's inflict the water, it's dissolved, and it's really you need to make some analysis to see it. So it's sometimes out of the mind. So the video is telling you where all the sources of pollution, how they are coming, how we are really contributing to create more and more wastewater and more pollution. But what is the solution we can make from our household, from our neighborhood, from our community, from our society, our country, and at the global level? So it's a summary of what, and with the practical solution is showing. So I'm inviting you after to really look into that, so that you can have a teaser of what it meant to. So this is some fact I wanted to present, and if you can have all the slides directly, we might consider that when we have just 1 liter, if you can click next, so I can have the 3 slide, again. So if you have 1 liter of wastewater, it can pollute 8 liters of fresh water. So you are losing the 9 liters of water instead of only 1 liter, and you have to treat it more. So we need to keep this in mind when we are discharging in treated wastewater. We know that while worldwide, people are using wastewater, treated or untreated, partially treated or completely treated for irrigation. Some countries will deny it, will ban it, but it's done anyway. Because if I'm an upstream country and I discharge untreated wastewater into a river, The downstream countries is just picking water from the river, even not knowing that it's polluted, because they want to do analysis before using it for irrigation. So it's done that almost 20 million hectares of crop are irrigated with untreated or partially treated wastewater around the world. And we know that it's also leads to health, not only the environment health, but the human health, because at least 1,800,000 children under the age of 18 are sometimes dying due to waterborne disease. And the photos, the image I saw, you can see a woman going to fetch just a kind of digging a small hole and to have some water. And this water is really polluted because it's coming from all collected, because it's a kind of where you have a low point, and they won't treat this water. They won't analyze it to see if it's polluted or not polluted. So this is the reality. This is the fact. Next slide, please. So the global program of action for the protection of marine environment from land-based activities is an intergovernmental body created in 1995 by 108 countries plus the EU to tackle the land-based source categories of pollution. And at the creation, it was focusing into 9 source categories. You have the persistent organic pollutant, the heavy metals, the radioactivities, the oil spills, sediment, alteration of habitat. So all this plus now the litter, which includes plastic, nutrient loading, and sewage or wastewater. So these 9 source categories of pollution was the mandate given at the inception to the global program of action. I will call it GPA in short, because you see that the name is a full mouth. So, but when it started, it was really dealing with all this, helping the countries to deal with the national plan of action to really look in the integrated manner how to deal with the pollution they're facing, the land-based source of pollution, to the waterway bodies, being it inland, the coastal area, and the marine environment. And this was going on since up to 2012, when at our intergovernmental review meeting in Philippines, we get another mandate to say 9 source category is good. You have pushed the countries, but to make impact, we are requesting you to focus into 3 source categories. Meanwhile, some have graduated and have taken into some other convention. You remember the Basel Rotterdam Convention dealing with POPs. We have the heavy metal. We have, again, now even the mercury dealing with the convention of mercury. So some has really graduated and been taken up at a convention for the countries to deal with. And we have requested since 2012 to focus on litter or plastic, nutrient loading, and wastewater management. How? To really also create a global partnership which will help us look into that. And we come up with the global partnership of marine litter. You can have the logo here. And on our side, you will see the amazing activities and support this global partnership is providing to all the countries to deal with plastic, but to deal with litter in terms of policies, in terms of technologies, in terms of awareness. We have the other one dealing with nutrient, which is the global partnership of nutrient management, doing the same, looking into how to help countries with the nutrient use efficiency, phosphorus focus, how to really shift the mind so that we will reduce the loading of nutrient into the environment. And we know that when we have a lot of nutrient loading into the coastal and ocean, you come up with the eutrophication, but in the long run, you can lead to dead zones. And we have some areas of hotspots of dead zone around the world. And the last born was the Global Wastewater Initiative. And I will come in detail with that, because this is the one focusing on water pollution, wastewater, in terms of policy, technology, financial instrument, but I'm coming back to that after all. So this is what we are doing in-house. But this is only one area. We have, within the United Nations environment, we have the program like James Water, which most of your countries know. We have, again, also working with UN Water in terms of SDGs, but in terms also of awareness raising, of global agenda setting. So next, please. So this is how where we are working with the wastewater, how we could see the negative impact, but flip it a bit and look into how can we look at wastewater, or I want to use water as a resources. And here I'm illustrating the work and the link with the SDG 6 based on a project we implement in Georgia. I was telling you in the beginning that the challenge for wastewater is not the poor countries, but even in Europe you can find them. So this is a sustainable water, wastewater and nutrient management in Georgia. We implemented with one member of the Global Wastewater Initiative, the Women in Europe for Common Future. And it's show us the link when we are dealing with the using wastewater as a resources that is can contribute to sustainable energy. And this we have implemented in a school and in a household where we are using gray water combined with the solar energy to really provide the kids with some water, and it's linked to SDG 3, 7, and 13. In their presentation, Dr. Rahina said that by just focusing on sustainable wastewater management, you can contribute to most of all of the SDGs. And this is also a small example of that. By treating, we also contributed in, again, using the safety, water and safety, sanitation safety planning developed by our partner, WHO, which also is a member of the GWI. We contribute to SDG 3, 4, 6, 10, 11, and 7. I won't go in detail on all that. But for the grey water management, what we did is just collecting wastewater from without the toilet. This is the black water, but from a kitchen, from the shower, we treat it using the sand and gravel filter, and it's used for kind of irrigation. And the household would using this treated effluent for gardening, for their garden, but also for planting some vegetables. So this week, by just doing this, you contribute to the SDG 6, 11, 12, and 13. We use the same project, create a platform to really safely manage animal manure, to use it as organic fertilizer. Next, please, so that I can have the full circle. And for the black water, which is coming from the toilet, we use the eco-sun, which is the ecological sanitation, where you already capture and divide the waste from the household, not looping on and all together for a treatment, but you separate the feces, you separate the urine, and then you can use it. So this was done in some of the household, and to contribute for fertilizer, and by just doing this and sensitizing the population, we contribute to SDG 1, 6, 8, and 12. I'm not saying what is the 1, 2, but because in my mind, everyone knows what is the SDGs right now, and how by just focusing on SDG 6, you can really contribute to all. The last in the middle, please. Next again. So, and we also look into the gender aspect, because the SDGs also, sometimes when you have a water pollution of water, if you have an ill person most of time, the women will be the one who is house to care about that. If you don't have water, they are the one to go and fetch for that. So by just implementing this project, having in mind how you can look into it into integrated manner, you contribute to the SDGs. Next, please. I wanted to illustrate by this example, and I know that the example provided for the Sabah Park and by Dr. Raina also illustrate that. So here we have, I'm just summarizing what we are doing under to deal with the wastewater challenges. We are really working on to 4 areas: the knowledge, implementation. In the implementation is where, for example, we have the activities we have with you at the university, and so grateful that we have this fruitful collaboration. We also develop some tools, some capacity buildings, like some massive open online courses, which we are both on wastewater, sustainable wastewater management and nutrient, some action plan, which I mentioned earlier on. And on infrastructure was how we deal with some circularities. We have example of on-the-ground project for Georgia, I mentioned it, but also in Morocco, where we use also influence from, with the support from Korean Forest Services, and the Morocco government will really contribute a lot of funding. We use solar energy here again to treat the effluent and do some tree planting to really halt the dust of sun from the city of Ouarzazate. So this is some example we are doing. And on awareness raising, a lot of articles, policy brief, the Atlas on Water and Sanitation for the continent of Africa. But we are looking forward to also develop the same for Asia, America, and the Latin America, the LAC regions. And for the leadership is where we have create the contribution, the platform, the Global Wastewater Initiative, which has not only the government, but private sector, academia, and so forth. So this is the summary of how the work we are doing is not in one area, but really encompass different pillar, which we think that with that we can really work with the member states to advance the agenda and reduce the negative impact, and also boost the fact that wastewater can be seen as a resource to contribute to human well-being, but also to safeguard the environment. Next, please. And I'm almost at the end. So the Global Wastewater Initiative, as I said, was really the last born in 2012, and have in January we had 78 members and 10 pending applicants. It's very well structured. We have a steering committee. We have a chair. In fact, our chair is in the call, Dr. Ashlian from the SUEN from Turkey, who is leading this Global Wastewater Initiative. And we have a steering committee. We have the working group, and one of the working group on implementation is led by Dr. Rahina here. We have a communication, we have others. So it's really open. It's free to be a member, but it yield benefits to come together, so that we together see where we can really bring our brick to the mortar, so that we could really build something and reduce the impact of wastewater. So this is the partnership. And next, please. Next slide, please. So just go back once. So this is a summary of where we are. No, again, this is a summary. If you can click just one forward. Yeah. So we are working on policies. No.
No, forward, Shida. Okay.
Again? Yeah, here. So with the Global Wastewater Initiative, if you can go once again, please.
because there is a lapse of
So we are working on policies, and in terms of policies, I will just mention what we the last publications we have on fecal sludge management in Africa, which we launched on the World Toilet Days in 19th of November 2020. We have the Atlas on Wastewater and Sanitation, which will be, I think, launched tomorrow with the African Development Bank and the Grid Aranda, our partner in Norway. In terms of technology, we have the toolkits and catalogs on water pollution by plastic and microplastic, which we launched on 17th of December, together with another member of the Global Wastewater Initiative, IMI. And we have, okay, I didn't mention African Development Bank also is a member of the steering committee of the Global Wastewater Initiative. The awareness raising activities with the series of webinars. The last one was the nature-based solution. We have the wastewater and the COVID. We have the water, energy, food nexus, which we did all the year from 2020. And we are planning our next one. The private sector and also the demo project, which includes the wonderful work collaboration we are having in Malaysia with the university and Dr. Raina Mustaf and Professor Zaki. So these are some example of the area where we are focusing, and we are looking forward to your engagement, because this partnership is open to everyone. And I think when we come together, we have more strength and we can make more a meaningful impact. So this is the end of my presentation. So next slide. I really want to thank you, and sorry again for this hiccup of the technology. Over to you, Professor Zaki.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lamizana, for a very comprehensive presentation. You know, it's good to see that those who are doing water initiatives, they are not alone. There is a whole network of parties and agencies working together, and I believe UNEP would play a very big role in bringing all those parties together. I'm sorry that we don't have enough time. Perhaps maybe I can address one question from the chat box. You know, if I can read from here, it's from Aslihan. I believe this question is addressed to Professor Rahina. How do you remove the collected sludge from the wastewater treatment unit? Who will provide the service for taking out the sludge? And what are your plans for sludge disposal? Maybe perhaps Prof can answer this in 1 to 2 minutes.
1 minute. Okay. Yes, the question is expected. Comparatively, which at the moment is just direct discharge into the ocean water body. Now the water villages will have the tank to collect the sludge. So there will be the plan is for the cooperative or the water village to service the system and work by the residents as an employment beneficiary for that. The good thing about here in Sabah is that they are promoting organic farming. So treated sludge would be useful, can earn income, and there is a circular what we call a circular economy around that for the organic farmers to use those fertilizer. I hope that will answer you in 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Raina. We don't seem to have any more questions because we don't have the time. So maybe those who are interested to follow the discussion, you can visit Faculty or FRSB UPM Facebook and write your comment discussion there. With that, with a heavy heart, I have to end the session with these notes. Okay. Actually, I have prepared some questions, but I don't think we have the luxury of time here. We have now come to the end of the first webinar series on SDG 6, Water and Sanitation, co-organized by UNEP and Malaysia. Sorry? Oh, yeah. Okay, I can continue, yeah. I hope everyone has gathered some new information, as I have enjoyed the talks and discussions we had in the last hour. Today we covered SDG 6 policies and programs at the United Nations Environment Programme with Dr. Lamizana and Professor Dr. Rahina, who shared the Smart Sanitation Water Settlements pilot project in Sabah. I am pleased to remind everyone about the next meeting, tentatively webinar series number 2 on the 1st of March 2021. The webinar number 2 will focus on microplastic pollution situations in the ocean bodies by a member of the Global Wastewater Initiatives, who will partner with a speaker from University Malaysia Sabah, who will cover the natural assets of the Marine National Parks of Sabah. The next webinar will be moderated by the Malaysian Nature Society, Prof. Ahmad Ismail. So please watch out for our posters from our website. And until we meet at the next webinar series number 2 on the 1st of March, I pray that everyone will be safe and healthy. Please take care of your situation, love the environment, and prosper your community. Be safe and stay safe. With that, I would like to thank everybody and have a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Prof. Lamizana. Thank you, Prof. Raina, and everybody.
Bye.
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 Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.